Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Two Dicks Exposed. I am your host, not Mike.
And I'm your other host, not Pat.
And today, as always, for these Marvel episodes, we are joined by mutual friend in the corner. Give us a high five, MFer. Nice. And we got Mike number 4 back there, Orange Joe, or Flufferman, or Youngster Dan. We're still trying to figure that out.
It's Orange Joe.
I just have an identity crisis. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Whatever the guest spot picks, that's my name. So, Orange Joe.
Orange Joe it is.
That's a DC storyline, Dan. We're not talking about identity crisis right now.
I'm having a midlife crisis on Infinite.
Midlife crisis on one Earth.
How about separation anxiety? That's a Venom storyline.
There you go.
Jeez.
So this episode, we're not even going to, lie to ourselves and say we can cover more. This is strictly phase 3
This
of
is just phase 3.
the Marvel Comics cinematic universe, which starts off with Captain America Civil War and it ends with Spider-Man Far From Home. And it includes Endgame and everything Thanos related. And
So good.
it's just peak.
Yeah.
Peak.
I mean,
And if you look up peak in the dictionary, it just says Marvel Phase 3.
it is Marvel phase 3.
Yeah.
So it all starts with, obviously, Civil War, which was like, there was so, like, when they announced Marvel, Captain America Civil War, there was so much hype for this because it, like, did you read the comics?
I heard a lot about the comics.
So, me and mutual friend here are big comic book readers, and so when they announced Civil War, we both looked at each other and was like,
Oh, shit.
"Oh shit, this is a big fucking deal!" Because, like, a lot of stuff happens in Civil War.
Captain America dies.
Captain America, well, he doesn't die in Civil War.
He gets shot.
He dies as a result of Civil War in his a comic book that happens afterwards.
Yeah. It's the follow-up story.
But he doesn't actually die in Civil War.
Gotcha. But a lot of people die in Civil War.
Right, a lot of people do die in Civil War. It's why Sue and Reed Richards break up. A lot of stuff happens. The main thing that happens in Civil War, the main big thing that happens in Civil War is the reveal of Spider-Man.
Oh,
Yes.
his
Yes,
revelation of
his
himself.
revelation. I revealed myself. That was like the big thing that happened in Civil War because, to those who don't read the comic books, Spider-Man's secret identity is the most like closely guarded secret in the entire MCU. I mean, Doctor Strange casted a spell so that no one can recognize his voice when he has the mask on. Like, it's that big of a deal. So when he revealed himself, it was a big thing. So we were kind of like, because I remember like sitting at the table, and we had these discussions like, how are they going to do this without Spider-Man? And then, lo and behold,
Trailer drops.
Trailer
Spider-Man's
drops.
in there.
The introduction of him and Black Panther simultaneously, like, oh my god.
fantastic.
Right.
So
Oh my
good.
God, yeah, this is
Yeah,
the
I forgot
introduction
about
to
Black
Chadwick
Panther
Boseman.
came in. And let me tell you, they just fucking did it right.
And it was the meeting of Ant-Man with everyone for the first time, too.
Yeah, because
He'd
he was
only seen Falcon at that point.
kidnapped. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's so many good and this is a non-Avengers movie. Like,
Yeah,
this is a,
right.
it is an Avengers
it's
movie.
an Avengers movie, yeah,
But it's a non-Avengers movie.
but which is like the wildest thing to me. I mean, the movie has so many great moments in it. You have the Underoos, right?
Right.
Spider-Man comes in. You
was so
have
hyped.
there's so many moments. I was recently like watching like on a doom scroll TikTok where like they were like breaking down like moments of like Spider-Man like joking around with like Captain with Winter Soldier and like the Falcon, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't catch that the first time I watched this. I cannot remember any of it, but it was like all cool.
I'm so glad you gave us great
Right.
content then.
No,
I read this one thing that was like fucking hilarious. I don't remember what it was, but
what I enjoy is like 10 seconds earlier you were talking about the same thing when you were talking about your research.
yeah, my research is amazing.
Oh, because my conversation happened on Mike. So.
Hey, I remember things from my research. I don't remember the right things, but I remember things. I take their story and make it my own.
But I mean, this is also where we get the awesome final fight between.
The final fight makes up for
Yeah.
the fact that the big fight wasn't very good.
Yeah.
How do you have a fight between all
Yeah,
of
like-
the Avengers against each other and no one really gets hurt?
Oh, it's the
No.
first time we see Giant Man too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That one person does get hurt. Rhodey
Rhodey.
gets shot on
Rhodey
the way
does,
out,
Yeah.
which is the worst person to pick because
No one cares about him.
well, and ignoring that, he's in an iron suit that does all the walking for him anyway. So
Right.
he could literally just be a head, and the suit would still work the same.
But it does give me my favorite Stan Lee cameo, because at the end of the movie, it's Iron Man and Brody. They're in like the rehab clinic, and he's walking along, and then Stan Lee shows up in a UPS outfit, and he's like, "I'm looking for Tony Stank."
Tony Stank is a great one.
That peak moment right there.
I'm a big fan of Tony Stank.
Tony Stank.
But yeah, that final fight sequence was fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, like, what was so great about the Civil War too was like friendships like actually like were like dashed on the battlefield like that. Like,
But that doesn't
and-
recover till Endgame.
Yeah. But I'm talking like in real life. Like people were actually like going at it because
Between Iron Man or Cap. Fan.
like, were you a Cap or were you on Cap side or Iron side, right? And it was just like,
I don't understand how anyone actually picks Iron Man's side in that battle, though.
Yeah.
Producer comment: is this like the male version of the Twilight fight?
It is.
it is
Yeah.
100% the Twilight
100%.
fight,
Definitely.
1000%, and it's Team Edward.
I'm Team Cap.
All right.
Team Cap for days.
Okay. For a second,
I don't understand how you're not Team Cap,
Right.
though. Like,
Team
Iron Man
Cap.
is on the wrong side of this battle.
Yeah, Iron Man's thing was let's
and
give the
It's
government
worse in the
more
comic
power.
books.
It's worse in the comic books.
Yeah.
It's
In the
definitely
comic
on
books,
wrong
he
side.
sides with the Thunderbolts, and
He starts.
Yeah.
tons of bad
recruiting
guys work with
villains.
him.
Well, it's funny
Right.
because like being in like the nerd culture and stuff, we hit that phase twice.
Right.
Like we hit the Team Cap, Team Iron Man when the comics dropped,
Right.
and then it resurged when the movies came out. And we were like, didn't we do this like 3 years ago?
Oh yeah,
But-
and there was another Civil War comic book that happened recently too, where it was.
We don't need to
We don't talk about that.
No, but
It's kind of like the Secret
I only like
Wars
it because
2.
it redeems the original Civil War, where Iron Man was on the wrong side of the Civil War,
Mm-hmm.
and in this Civil War, he's on the right side, and it's like
Yeah, but it's
you.
such a destruction of Captain Marvel's character
her
that
character
it's just
gets
it's
destroyed.
bad. Like,
Yeah.
it butchers her for no reason, doing things she wouldn't
It's
do.
still-
It's just
I don't think her-
stupid.
It's been a while since I've read. It's been like at least like 2 or 3 years since I've read.
I've
comic
barely
books.
been into Marvel since 2018.
But I do
comics-wise.
remember like
Yeah.
when I stopped reading it, like her character still hadn't redeemed itself from Civil War.
I mean, how do you redeem yourself from killing?
Tony Stark?
Yeah.
I do want to bring this up real quick. While we're on comic books, in the original Civil War, Tony Stark does team up with villains, and it was like a disastrous result, right? Like he literally like teams up with villains, and they do bad things, and he's like gets pissed off at them, and like, but like that's it. He gets pissed off at them. Captain America teams up with the Punisher. The Punisher kills someone, and Captain America beats the ever-loving shit out of him and tells him, "Get the fuck out." He's like, "I don't care if you're on my side. Fucking leave."
Yeah,
It's great,
I'm not
though,
associated
because-
with
This is
you.
also a great scene for the Punisher
Because
because
Frank's literally like, I'm not going to hit you.
Didn't he kill like Stiltman or something?
He kills the Pumpkinhead guy because he's about to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he
Okay.
blows their head off and saves Spider-Man.
he says Spider-Man.
It shows him walking in through the door with like a battered Spider-Man body. Because it's when Spider-Man's like, I've had enough.
Right, and he
You're
flips
doing
over
bad
to Cap's
things. He's
side.
like, I'm not with you
switches
anymore.
sides.
Yeah,
But the Iron Spider suit has tracking, so he can't actually get away.
right.
And so, yeah, the sequence is great also for the Punisher because, like, the entire time Cap is unloading on him, he's like, "Why won't you hit me back?" He's like, "You're Captain America." Like, so, like, that's why we were hyped because, like, there's so many great moments in the comic books that we were like, "Bro, there's no way they're gonna do any of this stuff."
No,
'Cause,
and-
like, they haven't built up for it.
Well,
And
talking
Civil
about-
War also is the one that had like the white van is driving around, and people are like,
That's
that was
the
the
Punisher.
closest they could do to being the Punisher.
Right.
Right.
It also made me think too, because you were talking about like how are they going to do this versus the comics?
Right.
Because the comics Civil War started off with Sentry blowing up like a school, right?
Yes.
Like accidentally. And I was thinking, I was like, man, how did they start Civil War? But it
It's
ended up with
Speedball,
the.
I think, that blows up the
It
school.
wasn't Sentry. It was
I thought it was Sentry. Like he lost his powers.
no, it was a black something
I thought it was Speedball.
Nitro.
Nitro.
It was Nitro
and
Okay.
Nitro becomes that creepy costume.
because Nitro was a
afterwards.
villain. Like Nitro.
No, they're that social media superhero team.
Yes.
And they're tracking
They were
everything
going
they're doing.
Was it Hydrogen Man?
It is Speedball. It's Speedball's fault. They're fighting a
Yes.
bad guy that they shouldn't
Should not
be
have been
fighting,
fighting.
and it attacking him causes him to explode,
which kid?
blowing up a school and killing children.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Speedball switches to the character Penance, which is like I think it's like a metal suit with spikes facing inward
Yeah.
that stab him when he does anything. So he's in constant pain because
Yeah.
he's like, I killed a bunch of
deserve this.
kids. I deserve this.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is a dark character, man.
Because that's like a great moment. Because that's also where Wolverine's like, I'm not joining in this war because y'all are forgetting the big thing that there's a guy out there that just killed a bunch of kids and no one has brought him to justice. And that Wolverine's entire comic book is like tracking him down.
hunting Penance.
And when he finds him, he's like, oh, you're already punishing yourself. He still wails on him, but he's like, you kind of are doing this to yourself.
Right.
So yeah, it's a fantastic comic book series. So if you haven't read it, please read it.
the original Civil War is really good.
It's the original Civil War is fantastic. So yeah, there was a lot of hype for Civil War, like the movie. And honestly, I think that they did a fantastic job. Obviously, they were never going to touch that comic book. There's no way in hell they were going to touch that comic book.
And
but
there just wasn't enough murder.
it just
in the movie.
there's not enough murder. The big standoff at the airport was kind of
Lackluster.
meh, right? Like it was like, okay, all right, Scarlet Witch shows up, shows a couple
Well, and no one
things.
really hurt each other. Again,
'cause-
the big injury is Rhodey flying away.
Which was an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like Scarlet Witch's whole thing in that movie when she like accidentally like sets off that bomb that like does kill people. It's like, how many times throughout the MCU have all of you accidentally killed like a bunch of people? Right?
They
Like,
destroyed New York City in
Yeah, they-
Avengers.
Well, they didn't destroy New York City. New York City was getting destroyed without the like. Loki was showing up and doing that if the Avengers existed or not. That is just a fact. He wanted to conquer. So,
I mean, that's the constant, is it the hero's fault argument that
no.
comics do constantly.
but
Do bad villains exist because they want to challenge the superhero?
right. But I think though that Age of Ultron does not happen without the
Without
interference
Stark.
of Iron Man. Like, if anyone should be punished, it's Tony Stark. Because again, what happened?
Well, it's his guilty conscience that
Yeah.
causes Civil War.
Yeah.
That lady spits in his face and he's like, shit, I ruined everything.
I ruined everything. Everyone's mad about this one thing, but like I did kill like way more people than Scarlet Witch. But then never, ever, like he goes after Scarlet Witch, like you did this, and it's like, bro, you are responsible for an entire country being destroyed. Like,
Right.
I destroyed a third of a floor building. You destroyed a whole country. Like, get off my back for a second. Which is why I get so pissed off that she joins his side. It's like, girl,
He
Doesn't
hates
join
you.
his side.
she's on her side at the beginning.
No,
Because
she's-
she's like, my power needs to be reined in.
She's
Nah.
she's kind of bullied into his side.
Yeah,
And
that's what
Vision
I'm saying.
traps
Like,
her.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, she even thinks for a second that it's like, she's like, oh, I should semi-agree.
I mean, she is literally supposed to be a child.
Yeah, she is.
She was raised in a tube.
But it's like,
So
you just watched this man destroy your whole country, and you're gonna let him talk to you that you destroyed like 4 people? Like, come on. Again, she is supposed to be a child. I get that.
and she already went after Tony.
Oh yeah,
And then she did the same thing and realized like, oh man, it was really easy for you to accidentally hurt a bunch of people. So she got Tony's side.
yeah.
It made sense to her then.
Civil War's so fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really good
It's a
movie.
really good movie.
We should move on to the next
Yeah,
one.
we
now.
really
I was gonna
should.
say, we got really
This whole
involved in
episode's
Civil
just
War.
gonna be Civil War.
Fuck.
We can quickly go on Doctor Strange. I am a huge fan of Doctor Strange, both as a character, and I'm also a huge fan of the actor Benedict Cumberbatch because I love Sherlock.
Good old cucumber patch.
Sherlock was amazing.
I do like that movie. They butchered Dormammu, who is one of my favorite villains. Because again, I like Doctor
He
Strange.
looks cool though.
He looks cool.
Yeah.
He does look cool. Doctor Strange is one of my favorite Marvel comic book. Like, I actually do read the comics.
This guy likes
And-
Doctor Strange and Aquaman.
I do. I do like Doctor Strange. and Aquaman.
Ridiculous.
All right, so you
Um,
can be quiet now, and we'll let the big boys talk. So, Doctor Strange, I love as a character, and I'm in the same thing. I do love Sherlock and Benedict Cumberbatch, and I think he's great as a side character, though.
I agree.
He
He's
should
supposed to
not
be a
be the
side
main character.
No.
I
And
agree.
honestly, I feel the same with Robert Downey Jr. Like, I think Iron Man is so much better in every movie he's in that's not the Iron Man movies.
I'm going to give you 2 things. That's because they could have easily not killed Tony Stark and actually made Tony Stark become what he is later in the comic books, where he is the engineer. Like they could have just been like, okay, I'm done. Which is what I thought they were setting up for 3.
I'd rather they kill him.
Yeah.
That death is so important.
It is fantastic.
It's a much better.
Because they had to kill either him or Cap.
and they kind of killed both.
They kind of killed both.
They should kill Cap.
Did you guys see?
I'm
Okay, I'm going to jump ahead for a second there.
Though.
It's way more impactful.
So-
So he's MCU.
And there was contract disputes with Chris Evans, so everyone kind of knew he was going to be gone anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump into Quantumania real quick. And this is kind of newer, so I will say spoiler alert. Tiny spoiler. You've seen that, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Quantumania? Okay. So there's a scene where Ant-Man's talking to Kang, and Kang is like, he's like, I fought many of the Avengers. And he was like, are you the one with the hammer that I killed? Or whatever. I saw a thing online where someone was saying most people thought it was Thor, but he thinks that Kang actually went back to the past that Captain America lived with Peggy in and actually killed Cap at that point because Cap had Mjolnir at that point. Like he took it to the past. So, and if Kang's going around, changing or jumping into timelines that aren't the main timeline, then.
But we see old Cap give the shield to Captain Falcon. So if he killed him in the
Captain
past.
Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Captain America.
Captain
Yeah.
America.
Falcon.
He could have
punch.
killed him as an old man.
Punch. It's true, but I mean that's not like much of a brag. Are you the one with the hammer that was also like 90 years old and like could barely walk? I mean, the dude could barely lift the shield onto the bench.
Hey,
when he came.
a 90-year-old
Were
Cap
you the
could still
90-year-old
take me.
Cap with the hammer that I killed?
Guaranteed.
Yep.
9-year-old
I'm
Cap
really
would kick my
strong.
ass.
Check me out as I beat this old man to death.
I mean,
Kang is the guy who would brag about that. Though.
Yeah.
Kang is the guy that would brag
see,
about that.
so it fits.
It is true.
Kang is like, I
it's
beat the
true.
shit out of that retirement
Yo, dude,
center.
I wailed on that old man. He
Hey,
came
Orange
at
Joe,
me.
what's that line from Futurama? Beating like the pacifists. Kang is just Zap Brannigan.
But yeah, Doctor Strange. I agree. He should be. We do need his first movie because you need to figure out. You need to know who he is.
Right.
We do need the second movie because he does set up the multiverse.
Unfortunately.
But
I think Spider-Man sets up the multiverse. I think that unsets up the multiverse. The second Doctor Strange.
it's true.
Also,
I forgot he does pull. He does well. Yeah.
that they said that one, and I think the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies are also the only ones that ever refer to the MCU as 616.
Yeah.
But in everything else, they're Earth 1999-9 or something like that.
Yeah. It's weird.
So, like, theoretically, those are AU to some degree.
Alternate universe.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I just keep kind of hoping that with the second Doctor Strange for obvious reasons.
Right.
Oh, for
It's a continuity nightmare.
Scarlet Witch.
Well, it butchers her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
just continuity in general is just not fully there with that movie. But that's phase 4, so back to phase
Yeah.
3.
Then we have Guardians of the Galaxy.
Which Guardians 2 was probably the weakest of the 3 for me.
But still good.
Still
Still
good.
good.
Still good.
I still had a great time in that movie.
Yeah. The Mary Poppins line will like live in infamy.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
I forget who the actor is who plays him. I always remember him as the guy from
Michael
Walking
Rook.
Dead.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, this leads to probably, oh god, another banger,
Yeah. Every good movie. So we got
Every good-
Homecoming after this,
Homecoming.
which
I was so happy.
Michael Keaton finally showing up in the MC.
Did you hear
Marvel, baby.
that they said whenever he had a fight scene? I don't know if this is true. I read it on the internet. Could be bullshit. But it was really funny, so I'm going to go with it.
I know exactly.
Every time he's fighting Tom Holland, he'd be like, I'm Batman.
Oh no! I thought you were going to talk about my other favorite one.
No, but
Where-
apparently every time they fought in those, whenever he got close to Tom, he would be like, I'm Batman.
I love that.
I love.
I want to believe it even if it's not true.
I'm going
so
to
I'm going to
believe it.
choose to.
Fuck.
But yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming was fantastic. Michael Keaton as the Vulture was a perfect pairing. Like
It was so good.
it was such.
He made me love a villain that
Oh
I've never
my
cared
God.
that much about.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
and
the
then-
Vulture. Like the Vulture. Like his
Yeah.
thing is like stealing energy from other people.
He's kind of a mid.
Mid.
Villain. And
And then we
I
also
really
get
liked
Zendaya and
so
I can't remember his
Genki.
Ned.
Yeah, Ned. I can't remember his real
Oh,
name.
Genki is Miles's person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ned. You're
Anyway,
talking about
Ned.
Ned.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Ned, who are like awesome side characters.
Oh yeah,
And-
so good. Honestly, it's hard to even call her a side character. After the first one, she kind of felt like just the other co-main.
Yeah.
Pretty
A
much.
super powerless co-main.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see where they go with Spider-Man 4.
Oh,
what
yeah.
they're going to do with
Oh,
that.
yeah. That,
I
I
just
wonder
really
if
hope
they're
it
going to
brings in
attempt to bring
Felicia
in a
Hardy.
Gwen Stacy.
Nah, forget her. Bring in
Felicia
Felicia.
Hardy. Oh, she hasn't
Felicia
been done
Hardy,
yet.
baby.
I think bringing in Gwen is a mistake when you've got a almost perfect iteration of her in the animated, and we haven't seen a Black Cat
That's
yet.
fair.
So
Felicia Hardy does show up when when Peter is in college.
yeah, so it's the best time to do it. And no one remembers him, so a hookup with a badass.
And that kind of works out
Anti-hero
because
is
she shows up when Spider-Man's going through his whole Venom phase too, right?
Yeah,
So there is that piece of Venom that's left over from...
and they
Yep.
think it's going to be a Kingpin movie possibly, where Batman has to fight, or Batman,
Where Batman
dear
has
God.
to fight
where
Kingpin.
Spider-Man has
I'd
to
watch
fight.
that.
Oh my god. I'm down
Where
for it.
Spider-Man's fighting Kingpin, so
Yeah.
she's often tied to Kingpin because he like forces her to work
Right.
stealing stuff.
That's awesome.
I'd
So-
be about that.
Yeah, dude.
I wouldn't even care if they introduced her in like the Daredevil miniseries, and then she
I'm
just
okay
carried
with that,
over
but I would rather she just be in
Be in
Spider-Man.
actual-
just in Spider-Man.
She's almost been in the last two series, and then they ended right before she would have shown up. Like Felicia's in Amazing Spider-Man 2 in like a background scene, and apparently the script for Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, she was supposed to be one of the villains in that one. So
Yeah.
every time Felicia's about to show up, they're like, "We're not making any more movies." So if Tom Holland ends at movie 3, I'm going to be really upset if she was supposed to be the character, and I'm deprived of Black Cat one more time.
She's like-
time.
She is on my body forever. Give me the character, man. All right. Anyway,
So yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
great.
it is a fantastic movie. It also is the start of the father-son relationship of Spider-Man and Iron Man.
And Iron Man, yeah.
He's like, "You're not even here," and then like he comes and
He
steps
steps
out
out
of
of
the
the
suit.
suit.
And he's like, "I
He's like,
am."
"Oh, fuck."
And then, oh, Dad actually did show up.
Ooh, daddy.
Ooh, question for you guys: Tom Holland holding the boat together versus Tobey Maguire stopping the train.
Ooh,
Which
The
scene
train.
stuck in your brain more?
The train.
The train.
Honestly,
The
I
train.
love Tom, but
that because
the train is iconic. It's also just like it was the first Spider-Man thing. Like
yeah,
I
because
ever
you
saw,
also
and I
get
was
that
just in
moment
love.
where like they all like are like carrying him like through the subway,
he's
and they
just a
put his
kid.
mask on, and everyone's like, "We didn't see anything."
Yeah.
And it's like like it's like one of those like moments where like you see like every like side actor that was in that sequence like was so convincing that like I felt it in my heart that like
Spider-Man really did that.
he really did. And not only that, but like, it was it was less
They
that
actually
it
crashed a real train in New York just
was,
to do
I
it.
wasn't talking. I was talking about the like the side actors.
No, I know
I
what you meant.
felt I believe that they all were going to keep that secret.
I mean, while we're on Spider-Man 2, we got Spider-Man 2 in Phase 3 as well. So we
did.
got Spider-Man: Far From Home.
So good.
Yes, it's Far From Home, which takes place. It's the last movie in Phase 3, so it takes place after like Endgame and all that
Yeah,
stuff. And it's
yeah,
kind of like
it's-
him dealing with the death of Tony Stark, which in itself is like super.
Far From
Sad.
Home is such a fantastic movie, and like it's one of the few times where like I think that like Marvel got the CGI like 1000% perfect.
Yeah,
Like the whole Mysterio illusion sequences were so fantastic that like
they did Mysterio right.
they did him right.
They
I
did
mean,
him right.
This is controversial opinion, and it's because I love Mysterio, but I actually rank 2 above 3. 3 is a great film. I think it legitimately is probably the better movie. But God, I love Mysterio. It is so perfect.
Mysterio's so good.
And Jake Gyllenhaal is just perfect as it.
That's his
and-
boyfriend.
And I got to watch that movie with my parents who don't know who Mysterio is. So they're watching that movie believing that Mysterio might just be another good guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, like, we all know the comics. We know that this is going to turn at some point.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
the master of illusions. So, like, this is fake. But they didn't know that. So when he seems like the good guy in the beginning, it's believable if you don't know.
I think they did with Mysterio what they tried to do with that dude in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Where was it Iron Man 3? I don't know. Where it was like it's a mystical character, and they were like, "No, we're just gonna make him like techie mystical or whatever."
Oh, yeah, the AIM guy.
the
Yeah.
AIM guy, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name because that movie is just a bad villain.
But
It's
It
not
really
a terrible
is.
movie, but the villain is really, really bad.
Advanced idea mechanics. As soon as he said those words, I was like, "Well, okay, there's your bad guy." Like
Spoiler for every
like,
comic fan.
every like anyone who like if you read Marvel comic books, there are so many times where like somebody says something and you're just like, oh, okay, well you're bad, and then like throughout the movie he shows up later and he's like,
I do like
he's
when
the bad guy.
they throw you off though. Like they say something like that and then he really
Plays
isn't
no
bad.
part in
Like imagine Mysterio really is just
A good guy.
an AU Mysterio and he's just is a good guy. That's trying
There
to help
are
them.
moments in the actual comic books where Mysterio is a good guy.
He's mostly just a thief.
Yeah.
He just wants to make money, so he's not pure evil either. This
So-
one's pretty bad though.
No, he's bad.
Yeah, this one-
he is literally trying to like.
Which ironically also caused by Tony Stark.
That is like a thing, right? Like
It's a myth.
every villain in like all of the comics or the movies is somehow Tony's
Somehow tied to
fault.
Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he is the reason the MCU exists.
I mean, shoot, even after he's dead, a couple of the villains were like, it's because of, I mean,
Fuck Stark.
Mysterio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the other star
Yeah.
of Civil War, Black Panther, got his own film
Yes.
after that.
Oh yes,
Sorry.
thank you for keeping us on track. Yeah, and that gave us Killmonger, who, I mean, just continuing the trend of villains
Panther-
being amazing.
Michael B. Jordan,
Michael B. Jordan.
his
Michael
Killmonger
B.
is
Michael B. on me, am I
Oh
right?
my god,
Yeah.
yes. Everything about that movie was great. I love like, God, like, the universe it set in.
literally the only bummer for me about the entire movie is that, spoiler if you haven't watched a movie from 5 years ago, Claw dies. And I was bummed about that.
Oh
because
yeah,
I
Yeah.
do love him so much. Andy
Andy
Serkis.
Andy Serkis. Yeah.
Yeah.
mean
The only
Spiegel?
two relevant white people in the thing are hobbits.
yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's him and Morgan
Freeman.
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman?
Martin
Morgan
Freeman.
Freeman?
Yes.
No, Morgan Freeman is the
Morgan
important
Freeman.
white guy.
Yes.
Who was a hobbit.
Yup. Definitely Morgan Freeman.
The other Sherlockian.
Yes. And even Cumberbatch is in it too. Who he was Smaug in Hobbit.
Small. Cumberbatch was in Black Panther.
No, I'm just saying in MCU.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
just kinda
I was
going back to,
I
like,
was
the whole, like,
I was
Okay.
what
really
other
confused
series
'cause I
has
was
completely
like,
I
him
was
in.
trying to remember when
Don't
he was in the
remember
movie. I was
Doctor
like,
Strange in
how
that
did I miss
movie?
that? Was he in the...
Deleted scene, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got he basically took the place of like what's his face guy, I can't remember, we were just talking about the guy who died in Avengers 1, the Shield guy.
Oh, Agent Coulson.
Oh, Agent
Coulson.
Coulson.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
he
kind
is
of like the new
basically
Coulson.
Yeah.
Him and the one guy from he was in Ant-Man. He was also in the Scarlet Witch movies.
Oh, and he
He's-
was in the Scarlet Witch WandaVision.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
he
Oh,
shows
Wu.
up.
Wu.
Yeah.
Agent Wu.
So
Wu is great.
Oh my
Wu
God.
and whoever Martin Freeman's character's name is, I can't remember his character's
Ross.
name. Ross.
Yeah.
Wu and Ross are like the two like new Coulsons, and I'm okay with that.
I still want the spin-off with Wu, with basically the three people from WandaVision. Just Wu, Natalie Portman's friend, who played by Two Broke Girls girl.
Oh,
Kat Dennings.
Kat
Kat
Dennings,
Dennings.
and there's a third person in there, wasn't there? Might have just been those two.
Is it Monica?
Oh no, you know who I'm thinking about? The guy from Ant-Man who does like the really quick recaps.
Oh, yes,
He
Yeah.
wasn't
please.
in the new.
Yeah, he
Ant-Man.
wasn't in the
That
new
pissed me
one. I'm
off.
so pissed.
Why? Like Marvel, answer that question.
Because
seriously.
there's no way at all that he survives in that universe. None.
but like,
Yeah, he's not going to survive.
He's not surviving.
but where
They
was
only
his
survive because they all
recap?
have powers.
I want his recap.
But he can't recap something he's not there for.
But like he recaps like everything that happened before the movie. Like he would. I wanted his end game recap.
I get it.
Like, but
not possible,
why
though.
did
He
I
should
get
have
it?
come in at the end of Quantumania and be like, "So I wasn't there, but this is what I heard."
Yeah,
And just-
right.
I could have dug that.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, that
I
could
had
have
a
been
bunch
one of those
friends-
mini-sodes that they have on Disney Plus, and I would have watched it.
Yeah. But I do want to point out one quick thing about Agent Wu. As when he shows up in Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man, he's enamored by Scott's sleight of hand magic tricks, and every time you see him in a series afterwards, every time he's like in the background scene, he's working on like practicing sleight of hand, so that when you see him in WandaVision, when he whips out his business card. That's why he whips it out of nowhere, is because he's been practicing sleight of hand because of Scott Lang.
That's
So like
perfect.
every time he's been in a movie, like in the background, he's practicing sleight of hand, and all for the big reveal at like with WandaVision. He's like, I got it now.
We
I
love
think
a subtle nod.
there was
love it.
also
I
something
just-
at the
I
end
love
of
that.
Ant-Man 1 when he got put on house arrest. And he was like, they were like, well, what are you going to do now? And he's like, I always wanted to learn how to play drums or something like that. And then in Ant-Man 2, he's like under house arrest from Civil War or whatever. And he's just sitting there like playing drums like crazy.
And when the
I love
ant is
it.
playing drums,
And the ant's playing drums.
Oh my god!
iconic.
I
But
love
back
it.
to Black Panther.
Black Panther. Sorry, that
How did we
movie.
get on that tangent?
It is a fantastic movie because like the cinema like every like where do you start?
I
Like,
mean, all of it's good. It's one of those movies like Guardians where the music is a relevant part of the movie.
music is
It's like
that,
encompassed into it.
that sound that plays when the Mila J, what are their names?
Dora Milaje.
Thor Milaje, when they show up, like I always like I can hear that in my head. The soundtrack is fantastic. Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger.
Every actor and actress in
Yes,
that movie
it's-
is just amazing. And then there was that
M'Baku.
that other guy, M'Baku. Like he was like awesome. Like I loved him as a character. And like Shuri was a great character. The
Yeah.
Queen was a great character.
Oh, she's amazing in everything she's in. But
the leader of the Thor Milaje.
Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje. I
Yeah,
forget.
also
I'm
from
gonna
The
look-
Walking
Okoye.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
She-
played
She's so fantastic.
Michonne.
Michonne. Yeah.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't watch enough of The Walking Dead to like really.
Well, Michonne
Care.
has the dreads, but
Yeah.
Right.
it's a wig.
Huh.
So
Yeah,
She's great. She was probably the best part of Black Panther too.
she's really great in everything she's in. I loved her in both movies and in like Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
no, she's honestly probably my favorite character after, probably after Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. Like after him, it's her.
I think after him, it's Michael B. Jordan for me, but she's definitely.
Well,
up
I mean,
there.
that is. Well, I guess
Yeah,
technically Black Panther doesn't exist in the franchise either anymore.
I guess that's
so,
the only
like,
thing I hated about
sadly-
Black Panther was they killed Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Like he would have been an amazing reoccurring character.
They don't-
and he would have been a great shoe-in for the new Black Panther.
Well, that's the problem with the new Black Panther for me, is you're led to believe he dies there. Perfectly reasonable that he dies in the first movie. The second movie confirms that he dies.
Yes.
That's the problem with the second movie for me. I would have been okay with that not happening. And they don't ever need to bring him back. He could never come back, but now we know he's gone. And the only way he's coming back is if they do that, like, I think it's like a voodoo
yeah.
character brings him back as like an undead version of himself. And he's really cool. And if they did that, I wouldn't be
Is
completely
this where we
upset.
get Doctor Voodoo?
No. That's not the one who brings him back, I don't believe. It's a female character, but I don't know their name. But we have the book, and Blade is referenced, so the possibility of like undead stuff is possible. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
cry about zombie Michael B. Jordan like being Killmonger again.
Just Michael B. Jordan is anything is okay with me.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
even if they just had him be Human Torch again, I wouldn't cry about it.
No,
No.
that's honestly the only reason why I saw the movie.
It's why I watched the movie too.
Yeah,
It
I
definitely
love
wasn't
him
for
as an actor.
Miles Tellis or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah.
Miles Teller.
He wasn't a terrible
Angry
casting look wise for Reed, but it just did not work.
No,
For
I
me.
don't like him in most of the movies he's in. Although he was good in the new Top Gun.
And he's in
can see that.
Chronicle with Michael
Oh
B.
yeah,
Jordan.
that was good. That was good. And
Who
and
are we talking about?
the other
Green
Goblin.
Yeah.
The Andrew Garfield
Yeah.
Goblin.
Was that based off a comic or was that just?
I don't know, but it's probably my favorite found footage film ever made.
Yeah, it's solid.
What movie are we talking
And
about?
here's your
Chronicle.
plug for Chronicle,
Oh, I never saw Chronicle.
which I
You
think
should.
came
It's
out
really
in
good. I
like
think you'd like it a lot.
2010 or something.
I
It's
think
old.
it's even older than that.
Yeah. Phase 3.
We're literally-
yeah, I mean, Miss
we're out of
Marvel, we don't
time.
care about.
Like, there's
Thor Ragnarok. I mean,
It was really good, but
It was
Love
really
and Thunder
good.
does
It-
some damage to it.
yeah.
what was that?
Love and Thunder did some damage to it for me.
Yeah.
Like-
I hate that movie.
It was
Ragnarok
not
was
good.
Ragnarok was so good that they decided to like try and make Ragnarok 2 Electric Boogaloo,
And it feels like
it,
Electric Boogaloo.
It's yeah, like
Yeah, it did not hit home.
no.
Well, it ditched every element of real seriousness in a good way
Yeah,
entirely.
Right.
Like
It
Ragnarok
went
is
too
good, but I
far
just
off.
think about Love and Thunder now when I watch it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's hurt for me.
The
It
thing
doesn't
that,
mean
like,
it's not good.
saves me about Ragnarok is I heard a theory that Ragnarok was told through like how Thor saw it. So like that explains why he doesn't have his accent anymore in Ragnarok, and like, you know, it's just him kind of like coping with everything that's happening, and that's why like everything is so like goofy and funny, because he's like, it's his brain trying to like explain it for him. Because you figure Ragnarok starts off with like everyone he loves dying.
Yeah.
And then it's like
Dealing with that mentally would
he's
be...
just trying to deal with that mentally. So
Yeah.
No,
you know.
I like that. That's a good
That's
way.
why,
That's a good spin on it.
I do like the beginning of Love and Thunder, though.
oh, I hated that.
I love
where he's with
no,
the
I, no,
Guardians.
no, no. I like the beginning where it's just him just doing a bunch of dumb stuff with the Guardians, and then they're just all like,
I don't.
No.
and then he.
How do you
leaves.
take
I'm
Thor
fine
and make
with
him
that.
look like the dumber character next to Star-Lord? Star-Lord's whole gimmick is that he does dumb things.
Right.
Well, like I think it's just a
And
a matter
Thor's
of.
supposed to be the stupid one, and he's explaining the right way to do stuff. Like,
I think it's.
I
I took that sequence as like he's just trying to still continue like escaping his pain.
I could see that, and I'm okay with that, but I
Like,
think they
yes.
went too far.
I think like yes, everything got rightfully fixed. Like you did fix everything with everything, but I feel like I feel like a part of him at the beginning of Love and Thunder still holds like a lot of responsibility, because like let's be real here, if he didn't miss his head at the end of Infinity War, Cap wouldn't have left, Tony wouldn't have died.
In that
So I
aspect,
think
though,
that-
I respect Fat Thor a lot more than I do
Oh no,
Love and
Fat
Thunder
Thor is way more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like the beginning of it, it's like him just trying to like, it's like that's what makes it fun, is he's just trying to be goofy and dumb. He's like, I'm trying to live life again.
I get it, but he's not
Yeah.
that dumb.
No.
I
I
mean,
think he
Chris
should have become
Hemsworth
an
hates it.
alcoholic.
No, Chris Hemsworth hates
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Chris
Yeah.
Hemsworth did like a second of that like espionage movie that he's in, and he was like, I would like the next Thor to feel like this more
Yeah.
than like
I need to watch his Netflix movies. I've heard they're actually pretty
Extraction.
decent. Yeah.
Extraction.
Good.
That's
Are
a
they?
second
Fucking
Extraction.
good.
That's what it is. And he
Yeah.
was like, I want the next Thor to feel like an Extraction with superheroes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would definitely watch
I
that
would watch the
over
hell out of
Love and
that.
Thunder.
Yeah.
There is very little, if anything, I can say good about Love and Thunder, except for the outfit. I like
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
outfit.
Yeah.
Question for you guys, just tie it back up to phase 3. What hurt more? Iron Man snapping or Tom Holland disappearing?
Iron Man snapping.
Yeah.
Because Tom Holland, was coming back.
Tom
There's
Holland-
no way they were going to let.
When
Yeah.
when they have the scene with like Michonne and like Black Panther and he disappeared, I immediately went, I wish you hadn't done that with those characters, because there's no way now that I believe
They're dead.
that this is gonna
Yeah.
last.
Yeah.
When those characters because like who else disappears? Like Bucky, I could believe that they never brought him back, that he's just gone
Yeah.
after that movie. Every character until they disappeared Black Panther and Spider-Man, I was like,
Because I think
This
at that
could be
point they had
real.
already announced Spider-Man 2.
I don't know if they had, but even within that, I was just like, they're not getting rid of these guys.
Yeah.
The only way the Spider-Man one stays real is if it's their way of being like,
Sony won't let us make another
yeah,
one.
we can't
Yeah.
use him anymore, so he's gone. But
Yeah.
Black Panther is a full confirmation that like this isn't gonna last. That guy's the future of the franchise. They are
Like
definitely
he's the
not
number
getting rid
one
of him.
movie so far in phase
Yeah.
3. Yeah.
You can't get rid of this. I was like, it kind of bummed me out actually about Infinity War. I was like, you should have
No.
made her disappear, because I could have believed he lost his sidekick.
The second Spider-Man movie wasn't confirmed, because the second Spider-Man movie was the one where all the controversy happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's his death could have stuck.
So yeah, even Spider-Man's could have stuck, but Black Panther happening right before made me
Right.
not believe any
Not
of it was
believe it,
going to
yeah.
stick. I
That's
was
fair.
like, these
That's fair.
characters are all being brought back. so
Also,
it's time. Wrap
Chris
it
Pratt.
up.
Chris Pratt also left, and you know that he was contracted in.
The Guardians could have stayed gone though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guardians could have just been other people filling in as the Guardians.
Yeah.
Like Rocket survived. He could have taken over.
But Tony saying "I am Iron Man" and the whole funeral sequence that happens afterwards is just, especially because like you got Happy and sitting on the porch with his daughter.
Ooh, and we can end this episode with another fun fact about that. Tom Holland did not know that Iron Man died when they were filming
they
the
refused-
funeral scene.
yep.
They refused to tell him because he kept spoiling the movie
Yep.
so bad. So he thought it was like a birthday or something like that. So they were like, "We're going to just
So
put
his
you in a
sadness
suit."
on screen is just real.
Yeah, that's
It's
him
real.
finding out that they killed Iron Man.
Right.
And he was just like, "Fuck."
I got to give just one more thing because I know we're getting the wrap up signal. Tom Holland was not allowed. What was the Spider-Man? What's the most recent one called again?
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. During the Spider-Man No Way Home press tour reveal, that like tour thing they do, when the actors go on different talk shows and talk about the show, he was not allowed to go on any talk show without Benedict Cumberbatch with him, because Benedict Cumberbatch would be like would quickly reach over and like put his hand on his
At
mouth.
the end of that, he was actually very proud because he said, out of all the Spider-Man, I spoiled the least amount about this movie.
Yeah.
Because he was like, like Andrew and Toby, they got caught like getting dinner together at like a restaurant like 2 blocks away from they were filming and like all that stuff. And they
He's
caught
like,
him like
I
at
was
the movie
Spider-Man
theater.
who did best.
Right.
But I just love the fact that he wasn't allowed to go on press reveals without Benedict Cumberbatch being like, no, buddy.
Well, it's the same for the guy who plays the Hulk. I can't remember his name.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo will accidentally slip up and like spoil things too. Like I think he spoiled, Endgame.
He did.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was Endgame. I thought it was Infinity War. I thought he spoiled the disappearance.
Oh yeah, he did. He
He said that they got rid of half of the universe.
Yeah. Oh my god. See, that's why I'm
Because
so
that was
glad
on
that's
like Jimmy Fallon or something like that. Because then he just stopped. He's like, wait, what? And he was like, oh no.
I think he's also on there with like Rhodey or something, and he makes a face that confirms
is
that that's like you
Right.
just said something.
He's like,
because
oh,
I was like, you
fucked
could have played
up.
it off because people say like they kill half the characters, and people are like, he doesn't mean
Which
that.
could have worked because that was like Thanos' plan.
But Rhodey's face was literally like
It was just like,
that happens,
you
and I was
just
like,
say?
uh-oh. I didn't see that till after the movie though, so
Yeah,
it ruined
so-
nothing
yeah.
for me.
ruined nothing for me.
Anyways, we can go ahead and wrap it up.
We did phase 3 in an episode.
We did Phase 3 in an episode.
We did it.
Phase 3 in an episode and 4 minutes. It's okay. We got at least 4 minutes somewhere. I think you cut.
Yeah, we're somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining us on this wild adventure. We kind of did it like Star Wars.
The 5-part,
we
one
did
part.
4, 1, 2, 3. Anyway,
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
join us next time as we talk more comic books and stuff.
Or whatever.
Or whatever we air next.
If you enjoyed that episode, make sure to join us here every Thursday on YouTube and Spotify as we drop new episodes of that good shit.
And don't forget to give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok for some solid filler content to get you through the week at Not Mike, Not Pat. You should be watching.